Alright, you know what you're in for. Let's be men here. I want honesty. An armed robbery didn't just happen. You walked into that bank with a weapon. You took control of that room. You left with the money. That's not panic, that's intent. So drop the act. What happened? You want the truth? Fine. I mapped it out for 8 months. 8. I treated that bitch like clockwork. Studied it, memorized it, broke it down into all its moving parts, schedules, shift rotations. We slipped out back for a smoke. What cameras were operational and which ones were just plastic shells meant to scare amateurs. Places like that survive from reputation. Reputation breeds comfort. Comfort breeds openings. I didn't drift into it. I engineered it. For weeks, I sat across the street with a cough in my hand while it went cold, watching the doors revolve. I timed the armored trucks down to the minute. I noted which teller checked through the drawer and which ones trusted the locks without looking. Prior to the heist, have you ever stepped foot in that bank? I walked in just once to feel the air, counted the steps from the entrance to the counter, tracked the sight lines in the reflective glass. I wasn't hunting chaos, I was refining precision. No gambling debts, no dramatic betrayal, no midnight meltdown, just pressure. The quiet kind. Bills stacking higher than paychecks. Interest compounding like it had ambition. Years of effort flattening to the same narrow ceiling. I did what everyone says to do. Work harder, be patient, trust the system. And the system kept collecting. So I stopped trusting and started studying. The day it happened, I wasn't shaking, I wasn't sweating, I wasn't even angry. I was methodical. My pulse stayed even, my voice stayed level. I gave instructions the same way you'd give directions to someone who's lost. Calm, direct, and unambiguous. Authority doesn't come from yelling, it comes from certainty, and people respond to certainty. No one was hurt, that wasn't luck, it was design. The weapon was a boundary, not a threat waiting to fire. I watched every movement in that room. Hands, shoulders, eye contact. I controlled tempo. 3 minutes and change. That's all it took to interrupt years of routine.
That's nice for 3 minutes.
You call it reckless, I call that shit structured. Maybe you'll write premeditated or you'll underline deliberate, and you'll probably frame that as proof of danger. Sure, that's fair, but understand, this wasn't chaos. It was madness. It wasn't some impulsive grab for adrenaline. It was a controlled decision made under sustained pressure. I knew the consequences before I even acted. I knew where this road might lead me. A room like this, lights buzzing overhead, and a metal table between me and some pig. I'm not confused about what I did. I'm not pretending it was noble. It was intentional. And that's the detail that unsettles you the most. Is that I didn't lose control. I chose it.
Alright, I think that's all I need. Piece of shit.